You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform. Or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
Alrighty, good evening. How are we all? Welcome along. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, goodbye, hello, wherever you are. Nice of you to join us. I tell you what, 3,000 views for the watch along on Saturday. Thank you very much to everybody that came in. I felt a little bit like the United Nations. We had them from everywhere. Brazil, Paraguay, I think we had somebody in Argentina, America. There was a little massive in from America. Australia, obviously, with Luke. We're not getting that exotic tonight. We've only got Bogner in, but there we go. We have to. It's as exotic as we get in this country, I guess, isn't it? And I'm not saying that Dave's Carmen Miranda or anything like that, but, you know, we'll see how exotic he can get for us. But welcome along. It is the debate show. If you could do that, what it says there along the bottom, which is basically like the video, subscribe if you are new, share it, and click the notification bell. I would love you forever. Or if it's a deal breaker, I won't love you if it means you'll do it. But welcome along. It is, like I said, the debate show because it's Monday at 8:00. Well, no, it's not. It's 7 o'clock. I've got to get my clocks right. Now, he may not be very pleased to see me because he's told me just now that he's disappointed that Kate's not here. Rather than actually being happy that he's going to be with me, he's more disappointed about who's not here. But I am happy to have him here. Together, I suppose we are the Statler and Waldorf of LTID TV. Good evening, Harry.
Hello, Stats. How you doing?
All right, thank you. I'm going to say which one. I'm the Waldorf salad, am I?
You are in there. Can I just clear the air? My car's a Nissan, not a Miranda.
Boom.
Put that straight.
Once a radio presenter, always a radio presenter. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. You keep throwing me with these change of topics, don't you? 2 minutes before send-off.
Well, no, we kind of will probably come back to the original topic, but it's
good job I don't do any homework.
Well, it has been noted.
I should be well in trouble.
Well, no, if you'd done your homework, then I would have stuck with the topic, but I know you don't, so I was okay.
You didn't ask. You didn't ask.
I did see some notes on your desk before. I think it was
yeah.
That's not for the show, I take it.
No, that's just plans for the week.
Ah, dear.
So where's Kate skiving off to?
Well, Kate was in Vietnam. I mean, the sort of normal sort of place that you go to for a holiday, isn't it?
Especially this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I thought actually she'd gone over to take part in, the SAS survival show because that was in Vietnam.
Don't tell me there's one of them as well.
Yeah. Oh, yes, there was. Matt Hancock was in it.
Bloody reality shows.
Yes. What can I say? But look, talking about television, and this isn't exactly television, but just to let you know some news, everybody, that I am back on the BBC every Tuesday. Well, as long as we play with the Tuesday Talking Point, and it's very nice of them to ask me back.
Surprising.
How dare you, sir? I can kick you and do the show on my own, you know. I know it's not like a ventriloquist. I don't need you like that much.
I wouldn't sit on your knee.
Yeah, I wouldn't put my hand up your arse either. But I'm back as of tomorrow, every Tuesday post match. It's not a match report, and they ask me not to do match reports. So it is very much just a general topic on how things are happening at Leicester every week. So it starts off. They've got the first one, so that will be out sort of mid-afternoon, early afternoon tomorrow. So look out for that. Just go to the bbc.co.uk or bbc.com, whichever it is, I think, and go /LCFC, and you will find me on a Tuesday. So I'm pleased to be back. Pays for the TV license, but look, good. Talking of reality shows, I mean, I'm not sure, you know, we're going to have to try and get this out of the way for 9 o'clock because you're on telly later, pre-record from In the Jungle, Mr. Farage. You are, is that not you? You looked familiar in the shower, but maybe that was just those I'd seen of you.
Yeah, I have another actor doing my bottom. Yeah, that didn't sound right either, did it?
Not at all. Does Kathy know?
No, she's busy.
What you meant to say was you are. You've got a bottom double. That's what
stunt
the word
double.
was.
Yeah, stunt double.
Stunt double.
God.
Yeah.
No, I can't be doing with all this reality stuff. I'm sorry. I know people love it and people love Strictly and all that, but I just never really, never really got into it.
Well, all I can say is that don't knock it because it gives me off my material now for the breakfast show.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Yeah, true.
You don't have to be a celebrity to go in the jungle nowadays. No, you don't, Andrew. You just need to be a really gobby, self-opinionated influencer on YouTube. Anyway, talking to Dave.
Yeah, well, like I said to Kathy the other day, I think I'll be an enforcer. Influencer. Well,
Exactly.
whatever. Same thing, isn't it?
Do you know what? The only thing she influences me to do is to go to the bog every time she comes on screen.
I don't even know which one it is. Who's that?
That's the. I know. I'm going to be careful how I say this because I could get myself banned on this. But she's the YouTube enforcer, Nella Rose. She's called. Hopefully, she's going to be the first. Well, she won't be the first one out because Grace has gone today. Apparently, according to the press release,
amazing.
Viewers will miss her. I didn't even know she was bloody in there. She looked like she could curdle cream for the last week.
Oh, really? Not enjoying it.
Well, she's not smiled once. She's done one task and she didn't get 1 star on that anyway. But look, before we start, I want to say this because I think you're going to disagree. I'm going to get onto the main topic in a minute because I did notice you weren't too impressed earlier. I saw your Facebook post, but I'm going to say R.I.P. Terry Venables. Author, singer, occasionally a football manager. Passed away. I think, believe it or not, one of England's best managers. You weren't so agreeable, were you not?
No, Lineker said he was the best England manager ever. And I just said, that's bollocks. I mean, Alf Ramsey was the best one. He won something. No other England manager has ever won anything. Brian Clough would possibly have been the best England manager ever.
I don't think anybody would argue with that.
Venables was another Jimmy Bloomfield, if you like. Yeah, we play some half-decent football. But don't forget the other things that Venables got involved in. I mean, I quite like the guy. I mean, he's a decent bloke. But he weren't all squeaky clean and all roses. But certainly he's not the best England manager ever. No, we got beat at home in the Euros.
I don't know. You're a hard taskmaster, young
No,
David.
no, but look, why does Lineker say that? Because he signed him 3 times. That's probably why, or twice. Signed him for Barcelona.
I think it's a shame. I think it was a shame that he left England when he did, and the reasons he did, which was non-footballing. But then again, that seems to be happening with England manager Glenn Hoddle, Sam Allardyce. I think I wish he'd stayed on longer, but yes, he did have some dodgy deals. He did have some dodgy deals. As Turvey said there, he wrote Hazel.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
If I Can Dream, he took that to number 23 in the charts for one of our World Cup punts. The old DJ coming out in me there. It wasn't to be. I mean, I think Southgate's probably the best England manager.
Well, when he wins something, maybe.
Yes, but he hasn't failed to get us to a competition yet. Alf Ramsey did.
Neither did Bobby Robson. I mean, you remember those days we used to sail through the qualifiers and do naff all at the championships?
Pretty much like today, really, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. And that's the problem. Ramsey won us the World Cup. He said he was going to do it, and he did. And you can say we're at home. You can do all that. But, he won it.
Mm.
And, Germany, Argentina, Portugal. We played all 3 of them. And apart from Brazil, who were useless in Europe, yeah, I agree with you. Apart from Brazil, there was nobody any better in the world at the time. Certainly not in Europe.
No. Well, having won the World Cup, of course, the next game we then went and lost to Scotland. But these are minor points. Cloughie was too opinionated, said Andrew. I think we would agree that he was the best England manager there never was.
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed an opinion with the FA. That's the problem.
That is true. No,
and now you're not allowed one with the Premier League now.
No, you're not allowed one in football, are you? Generally,
No.
That's the thing. But
look at the referees; they're opinionated and they're incompetent, but you're not allowed to question them. Well, why not? We pay their wages.
You should be. You should be allowed. I don't know whether you knew this or not, but I had Keith Hackett, who used to be.
I saw that.
Yeah, the MOL chairman.
He was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said that the referees were quite happy to come and talk about their decisions afterwards, but the managers didn't want them to because they couldn't then, query it if it was sending off or something. They'd appeal it. They couldn't do that if they'd come out and explained it.
Right, okay. But a lot of managers try and talk to them, and they won't talk to them. So I don't know. Who knows who's right and wrong or is telling the truth? But certainly they're opinionated. But they get
certainly they are. Certainly they are. Okay, so we're going to go through. In fact, I'm going to throw into the mix another topic before we get started, guys. If you've got any general questions, stick them in the chat. We won't necessarily answer them straight away because we're going to be talking about a couple of specific things to start with. But then we'll try and come back to them at the end if there's general topics. And of course, it's Monday. There's Dave's here with me. The Nigel Farage, like I say, of LTID TV, and we will have the Monday mayhem question, I'm sure, at the end. I've got one in mind. Right. So please get your questions in, and we'll try and save them and get through as many as we can at the end. I'm going to start with referees actually, because you have just reminded me, and this is something that a lot of people, when I'm doing the watch-alongs, they are saying like how bad the referees are in this division. And I must admit, I'll sometimes sit here during the watch and go, oh, for God's sake, that was a foul. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But then I'm thinking, do I want referees now that get things wrong, but they genuinely give what they think it is? Or do I sooner have the situation that's in the Premier League at the moment, whereas you can't celebrate a goal, is that offside? We've got to wait 20 minutes while they put the lines in and play noughts and crosses. I'm happy with referees as we've got them now.
I don't think they you know, I think the decisions they make, they think are genuinely correct. I just think they're incompetent. They don't understand football. They haven't since probably, I don't know, the 80s. They've never played the game because they have to start refereeing so young. A mate of mine that was started refereeing when he was about 15, because that's the only way he'd have got, you know, a chance of getting to the top. So he never played the game. He couldn't play. He didn't understand tackles, really. You know, all the stuff that goes on a football pitch, he didn't understand, really. So it's difficult for them. How do you solve it? You get advice from professional footballers. You know, instead of having all this technical stuff, and if you've seen any of those shows, you'll see how the referees train each other. You know, it's generally pointless because they don't get it. What was that one come up? Ex-professional Saturday. Who's the ref?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Was that good?
Yeah. Well, no, in a way, it wasn't that bad because, you know, I remembered him, but I don't remember his name. I'm sure Andrew will come in and tell us.
I mean, I must confess, I can't remember what the hell I was doing now, but I didn't see it on Saturday.
No.
Where the hell was I? I was doing something all day anyway, so I'm kind of a bit of a fraud on that one.
I mean, Jack Taylor's one that the Turbovant has just said here. And yes, he was good in his day, but then he didn't have 50 cameras at every game analysing every decision and looking at it from 20 angles that he hasn't got. Now, you know, I was one of those that wanted VAR. And I've got to be honest with you, I was wrong. We should scrap VAR. Because if a guy makes a decision, and let's be honest with you, the rules are changed every single year. How you can keep up with them all the time, I don't know. They change the rules all the time. But if a guy genuinely makes a decision that he believes is right, but it is wrong, then fair play to him. He's made that decision, and it will go the other way maybe the next game or in the second half or whatever. You know, it will bounce up. Where here we're relying on people where, you know, they're going off and being analysed for 20 minutes while you decide. I mean, when Burnley scored against Bournemouth, and it would have, I think, given them a point, they were on top of the game. And by the time that they'd actually decided that it wasn't a goal, 5-6 minutes later, it had killed the momentum. So it had basically ruined the game.
Yeah.
So I'd sooner have it as we've got it now. That's the one thing about going back up to the Premier League I'm not looking forward to, and that is the VAR.
The other problem, of course, is that, you know, you've got these people in the studio that have too much time on their hands and that analyse every breath of wind or anything, you know. I mean, it's boring for a start.
It is. And again,
they've given them these machines that they can move players around. It's like an electronic Subutio set. Yeah. And, you know, for God's sake, get over it. Show us some more football from somewhere else or something.
I think the best ever match of the day was the one where everybody went on strike and we didn't have any presenters.
The most listened to, wasn't it?
Yeah. And but
that,
you know, look,
Lineker bollocks thing, wasn't it? Really?
Hey, you won't get me criticising the BBC now.
No, of course not. Sorry, they pay you. But I can.
You go ahead. These aren't the views of Leicester to lie die, though.
No, they're not.
but do get any topics you want covered. Do get those guys into the chat. Like I said, we will try and get back to those later. But I want to talk about this, Dave, and it's the African Cup of Nations, because everybody goes on and everybody moans like, oh, God, it's not fair. The African Cup of Nations, you know, it's going to decimate the team. But, well, I mean, there's two. Well, the honest answer is to get around that is don't buy African players or don't buy players that are affiliated to African nations, because it's there. It's every year. We have our Euros. We have our World Cup. Okay, it's in the summer, which suits us. You can't play that in Africa, and we saw that with the World Cup. Really, we should be getting used to it by now. And the simple thing is, if it's a problem, don't buy the bloody players.
Well, I mean, I was a criticism of it. Criticism. I criticised it because of that. Yeah, I know. For that reason, but I thought we had a lot of players missing, and it's not as many as I thought it was.
I think because of who's qualified. I think if more teams, then we would have probably lost more.
Yeah.
I mean, just going down there, you got the Ivory Coast who are hosting it, Algeria, Angola, Burkina Faso, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Mozambique, Cameroon, Cape Verde, DR Congo, Egypt. I'm not going to read them all. They're there on the screen. Sorry?
You said Cape Verde. Is she going?
She is. She's been to Vietnam. Now she's off to the Ivory Coast. I mean, there's some. Look, at the end of the day, why? We shouldn't criticise it. We shouldn't be critical of it, because, like I say, it's their tournament and it's our fault for buying those players, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we haven't lost. What was it? 3 maybe. We've
lost 4, but 3. We'll come on to the actual players in a second. But you can't play that tournament in the summer. We found that out with Qatar and the World Cup, didn't we?
Yeah. So the good news is, of course, that if we've got a decent squad, which we have, it'll compensate. Whereas a lot of other clubs haven't, so may suffer more than we do. Yeah. Because these sort of players are cheaper. That's why they're bought, because they're cheap, but they're still good quality. So, championship clubs, I don't know who's got them, but I would imagine championship clubs will be suffering more than, apart from the squad numbers, than Premier. But, it's just a guess.
Well, from the championship, and this is just the championship, not the Premier League, and in fairness to Sky, they've put this up just for the championship. Nigeria have got 4 players there from the championship. Gambia have got 4. Ghana have got 3. Guinea-Bissau have got 3. Cameroon have got 2. DR Congo have got 2, I think. Morocco have got 2. And then you're down to the odd one here and the odd one there where they've got one player. So there's nobody's really being, decimated by it. But let's have a look. I mean, with Zambia, we'll start with Zambia, and I've got that the wrong way round. So please ignore that. Zambia is, of course, Patson Daka, not Abdul Fatwu. So yes, I do know it is wrong. Before anybody starts saying in the chat.
Daka doesn't count, really, does he? Bless him.
Well, no, he's knocking them in for Zambia, isn't he, Patson Daka? 3 and 5 or something.
Yeah.
But he was linked with Celtic. Now, David.
Shows how desperate they are, isn't it?
Well, apparently they can't afford him. That's the problem. But
to be fair, in Scotland, I could score goals, so it's not a big deal.
No, it's not. It isn't. You're quite right.
He couldn't do it in the Premier League, unfortunately. I like him. I must say, I do like him. I think he's got good potential, but you do have to say that he's not really done it, and he's had a decent period of time, hasn't he? It's not as if he's first season.
Yes.
This year he's not had a great chance, unfortunately, and that's not going to help him with this tournament either.
No.
But maybe he'll get a move away at Christmas, New Year.
Scott's just saying there, he believes a lot of them, if I'm right in believing, are born in the UK. Thing is, that by the time, unless they come through the academy, and yes, you do have some academy players, and they will change, they will say, well, I've got a grandma who's from, Burkina Faso or whatever it's called, and I'm going to go and play for them, because they won't play for England. They've got
Wes Morgan.
Yes.
Wes did that, didn't he?
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Elliott, Scotland.
Didn't have to.
Yeah, we've seen it happen. But by the time, if they're not, look at all those players there and the 4 players. None of those came through our academy. So we knew when we bought those 4 players which international country they were aligned to.
I don't think that comes into it, Chris. I think they just see a price tag and think,
Oh,
bloody hell,
they
that's
do,
a
but what I'm
decent
saying is we then can't complain, can we, when we
Well,
go?
I don't think the club do. I think I do.
Well, you just
Supporters like me.
complain about the strength of
Well,
your tea in the morning when you brought it in bed by Kathy, you know, so let's not.
never complain about the tea, mate, or she won't get another one. No, but
I'll tell you, Kathy, send me an email. I'll tell you what it says about your tea.
she's not here, mate.
Oh, is she not? Is
She's
she
putting
out blowing?
Juliet.
Is she out blowing?
Grandparenting today. So
I
she's
thought she was out with the
no,
woodwinds.
that's Tuesday, mate.
Oh, is it right?
Yeah.
But let's go back to Daka.
Yeah.
And I said this yesterday when we were talking about him. Do you remember when we signed Iheanacho? We all thought, this is a great player we've got.
Well,
Blah, 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 blah. And then because of Vardy, and it's not Vardy's fault, it's just Vardy's so bloody good at what he does. He never got a look in.
Well, I just remember that because he scored. Was it Iheanacho scored in the FA Cup? Was it at Peterborough? Because I was at a wedding and I remember.
Oh no, that was another player. That was
it? Okay.
Yeah, I can't even remember the guy's name.
No, but we bought him for a bit and he couldn't score goals, and it does take time. But I think
Belgium is where these parents are from.
What the fuck was on it there?
Well, don't put him off, Emily.
I have no idea what we're talking about now.
Let me just go back to Patson Daka.
My dad was
To
born
me,
in
with Iheanacho, we'd signed this great player, and I know what you say. I know who the guy is. He scored a double on his debut or one of his very early games against people in the FA Cup, and everybody was saying what a great player he was. And I said the same with Musa against, he scored a double against Barcelona, and then we never played him in the right position. But Iheanacho came in, and I thought, wow, him and Vardy up front are going to really, really sort of rip the Premier League apart. Very rarely played together. And he was only getting 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there at the end of the game. We're all thinking, what the hell? Why, he's not scoring. Once he got regular game time, and that was week after week after week, because Vardy was injured, and I think Maddison was injured as well. So he was getting his chance. He was our top scorer for that season. And I'm just thinking with Patson Daka, whether that's the same problem, is that he's not getting the game time. And we can't say, right, we're going to give you 90 minutes against Sheffield Wednesday, Patson, see how you do. And then drop him again if he doesn't score. It's got to be... Kel's got the time because we had nobody else to play in that position because of injuries that season when we had loads. And, Daka's got to have that run. And possibly then he could do well for us. But he's not been given the chance, I don't think.
No, you're right. Every player needs a run. But you've got to show it in training that you're up for it. And don't forget, we... what's that? Okay. Don't forget, we did play them together, Iheanacho and Daka, up front. And it kind of started to work under Podgers, but it didn't really come to fruition.
No.
And then you're right, they never got another chance after that. I can't remember them playing together up front again after that game at Brighton.
No. And I don't think Daka's had that run that he deserves for us to see what it's like. It's like us saying, Vardy came on for 10 minutes against Middlesbrough or whatever. He didn't score. But players need that run, and they need to be playing regularly. And I think Kells didn't until he got, regular starters, what have you. But so I think Daka's a waste. Be a shame if we lose him. But, if at the end of the day he's not the sort of player that Enzo wants, then I understand him going. Because, of course, you got things like Christensen and Thomas. We don't use wingers. Ricardo, he's not being used in a winger's role. So I can understand going, but he would fit in because I think he's like Vardy Mark II, if you like. But I don't think he'll get the chance.
Well, I think he is. And Enzo must see this, surely. If he's putting it in at training, he must see that, he can do the business. So I don't know. I mean, he has come out and said that if he doesn't pick players, it doesn't mean he's not happy with them. So you've got to keep a good squad busy, haven't you?
You have, and happy. And whilst players will be happy to sit on the bench at Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, they're not going to be happy to sit on the bench at Leicester City, unfortunately.
No, they're not.
We have to accept that. Going on now we're going to go to Ghana because, of course, Batson Daka was Zambia, but me having a moment earlier got them under the wrong headings. Fatawu from Zambia. Now, apparently his contract states that we have to sign him if we go up. Doesn't matter on how many games he plays, and hello to LCFC. It's going to go, if we go up, we have to buy him. That's the agreement I believe we've got in place.
Okay.
He's going to be picked for Zambia. He's got to be picked for Zambia on his performances. He will be a miss. And do you think, though, that is why he's not started the last couple of games, has he, Dave? He's gone with McAteer and brought him on at the end. And do you think that's because, we haven't had Eunice. Obviously, he's only just come back. He was on the bench on Saturday. But do you think that's because he's thinking, I'm not going to have Fatawu for 4 to 6 weeks in January, February. Let's see what we can do without them.
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you? You've got to make provisions for it. And I think, and also he rotates his squad anyway, so we wouldn't know if that's what he was doing, and neither would the players, because the way he does it, he's incredible. But it would make sense. Yeah.
See, I'm talking sense. It's not very often that I do.
Well, that's what surprised me with the question. But
you're pushing it, young David.
But he would do that anyway, because since day one he's rotated the squad, hasn't he? There's only a couple that have actually been pretty much consistent in the side.
I think we're seeing more consistency now than there was at the start, but I guess that was always going to be expected once everything kind of settles down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm amazed that a couple of the guys I was expected to come in when they were fit are still not getting a regular place. I mean, Cody, for example, I'm surprised at that. I thought he'd have to come in to beef it up and to become captain.
You don't need Cody when you've got the likes of the Great Dane himself, old JV. You think we've got a JV at the top of the team, but at the bottom of the team we've got our other great JV, the Great Dane. Who needs Cody? But It's true. He must be sat there. I'm sure. I've heard that he's sort of very good, like in the dressing room and whatever, and I'm sure he's old enough to understand how these things work. And at the start of the season, I joke about Yannick, but none of us thought he was going to be putting in the performances that he, that he was doing. So that is, I agree with you, it is a huge surprise.
And also, I think he's fit now, isn't he? Who had a back injury. He was on the bench Saturday.
Cannon.
Tom Cannon.
Yeah. Well, he's been on the bench twice. I thought he might get some minutes. I think we might see him against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be a bonus, isn't it?
And of course, with us losing, we'll come on to Celts in a minute, but that could very well be a bonus. I think he will go, and I can see maybe that's the reason he's not being picked at the moment. But with Eunice, with McAteer, don't forget we've got Marshall as well. That's kind of dropped off a little bit, but we know he can do the role as well. So maybe we have got a manager that's maybe has actually got a bit of sense in his head.
About time, isn't it?
Yeah, we just need a presenter now. But there we go. Nigeria, we're going to lose two, Kells and Wilfred. let's go on to Wilfred first. What a player he has become. I mean, from when he came, when we first got him in, he was going to be like the new Kante. Everybody was spoofing him up. Man United said, Tans were saying they wanted him, etc., etc. And then, of course, he got injured, and it all went wrong. And obviously, he didn't sort of get that form back. Comes in under the new manager, different role. My God, like I call him, Twinkle Toes.
Oh, he's been brilliant, hasn't he? Absolutely brilliant. But I never thought he was going to be another Kante. I know he sat deep, but he wasn't the sort of guy to run around like a headless chicken, was he? Although Kante did have a head on him, but that's his role. I mean, Mendy was probably more suited to that role.
Yes.
Same shape.
Yeah.
But I never saw Ndidi as that. And I always wondered why. I mean, I think his tackling ability made him become that sort of person. And we never really saw any real creative stuff from him, did we?
Well, he was being played as, like I say, in that defensive midfield.
Yeah.
But quite often, he was in defence, wasn't he?
Yeah. And now, when he's given a bit of freedom, I mean, incredible. He'll be a big miss if he stays fit, of course.
Yeah. Well,
he's had a few injuries, hasn't he, recently?
He has, but look how much we missed him because he didn't play against Leeds and he didn't play against Middlesbrough. Now, all right, losing one player doesn't lose your games, but the clues are there, aren't they?
Yeah. No, he'd be a big miss. He will. I'm not quite sure how they'll replace him unless we get somebody pretty early on in January.
Well, you've got Pratt, haven't we? He's coming back.
But another fitness problem.
Yeah.
His contract up as well, isn't it, this year?
It is. Yeah. And I think he is a bit of a sick note. And as much as we all love him, we'll come on to the players that are leaving after us. But I think you're right. His contract's up, and I think we best cash in and just let him go because as good as he is or he can be, we just never see him.
No, I mean when he plays, he is good. Even last season. In the dark times, I mean, he was a shining light. I thought.
I think
made mistakes, but then they all did.
They do, yeah.
He wasn't given a big chance.
No,
by Rodgers, and he should have been.
But indeed, as a replacement, I suppose the obvious one, if you're looking at it on paper, and you've got Eunice who can play in the middle. You've got obviously Winks who can maybe go a bit more forward, but Cassidy, I suppose.
Well, I was going to say that. Yeah, he's the obvious, and he might have settled in by then a bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously a decent player, but he's just a young lad, isn't he? And he needs to man up a little bit for this division.
Again, we know there's the talent there because he did in the Euros, under 23 Euros,
But that's
won the golden boot, golden jock strap, and everything.
Yeah, no, I think he could well be. He could well be.
Yeah,
but he needs to show a little bit of mettle first, I think.
Yeah. Say hello to Luca. Welcome along, Luca. How are you? Top of the league with Arsenal. Well done, mate. You were last time I looked. I presume you still are. And Scott says here, concerned about losing him and Kells. And I understand that because obviously they are very much linked because of the roles they play. Kells is coming, and he's been asked to do this, and Vardy is as well when he starts. Whoever seems to start with those strikers is playing deeper, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, he's a great link between midfield and the forwards. But it can also, I think the difference is, and the stuff I've seen is that Kells, unless he was up front, there was nobody up front last year. This time we've got the three or four maybe midfielders who are up front as well. So, it does make a difference for him, and it allows him to come back, pick up the ball, and either have a run with it or lay it off and run. So
do you think
so many more options?
Because against Leeds, both Vardy and Kells, whoever, I can't remember who started and who came on, but whenever Fatawu or Mavadidi had the ball, there was nobody in the box for them to actually pass it to.
I think Leeds was just a nightmare.
Mm.
I don't think anybody played well in that game.
No, but what I'm saying is, but you do need the strikers. Yes, you're quite right. He does provide that link that we don't seem to have, with Vardy, and maybe he's trying to get Vardy to do that more. But we've got to be able to get players in the box for when the crosses come in.
Yeah, and Dewsbury Hall's always one that does get in the box when it's going well for him. But he went off a little bit, but he'll be back, and we will get these midfielders sneaking in the box and doing a Brian Robson almost. I see that in Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah,
comes in very late, and that's what you need. I think Vardy's always looking for him. Iacho probably is as well.
Yes.
So we're just getting to the stage now where we've got players, not just forwards, that will score goals.
And all right, we've got AFCON in January. What we've also got in January, obviously, is the transfer window. Now, I brought this up on yesterday's review show of the match with Brad. Obviously, he doesn't want Kells to go. I don't want Yannick to go. All these players that are suddenly playing well.
I don't want Vardy to go.
If offers come in for them, and like Palace is supposed to be interested in Kelechi, I think is it one of the Italian sides are interested in Wilf in Ndidi. It's do we sell them and cash in, or do we hold on to them until the end of the summer? Whilst in the summer we will probably lose them for nothing if we don't go up and they don't stay, for example. But if we keep hold of them with the chance of them losing, but they help us get promoted, we'll get more money from getting back in the Premier League than we will from selling what are basically at the moment Championship players.
But also with a limited time on their contract, that reduces their value to us, doesn't it? So I'd keep them. If they'll stay, I'd keep them to the summer, let them go on a freebie if they really want to. But why would they want to if they're back in the Premier League? The future's bright.
That's the gamble, though. That's the gamble, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. And it was a bit of a gamble with Tielemans, really, although I know you wouldn't admit it. But if we'd have stayed up, would he have stayed? It's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Why didn't he sign a contract? Was he always going to go? Why did he go to Villa? Many questions.
I don't think he was ever intending to, because if he'd wanted to, he could have signed a contract. And look, he had no loyalty to Leicester, and he didn't have to have a loyalty. He never came. He didn't come up. He wasn't a Leicester lad. We signed him. To him, it was a job, and I understand that. All I ever said is we're looking at Maguire, knowing that Man United were going to come in for him, knowing that we'd saved his career when he got relegated with Hull. He signed a new contract with loads of clauses in that allowed him, him to talk to certain teams, and if certain amounts were offered, and that's why we were able to get 80 million for him.
Yeah, but Tielemans came on loan, didn't he? And loved it.
He came on loan originally, but I think Tielemans was a case of, well, look, if I'll get more money, and more clubs will be interested if they've not got to pay us.
Yeah, maybe, but also Europe.
Yes, that's what he wanted, because he wanted a so-called Big Six club, didn't he? He got
Villa.
He got Villa, exactly. That's the risk, isn't it? But, I just think if we go up, I don't see why. Well, let's take Kelechi and Indeed as the two I mentioned. I can't see why they would want to leave if we go.
They won't. I mean, they'll be pushing 30, won't they, by then? Maybe. Certainly late 20s.
But not unlike you and me, Dave.
Well, I mean, they're not all as solid as we are they, to be fair? So
no.
We could go on forever, allegedly. But, they're not youngsters.
And you do. You do sometimes.
I think they'd be given if we go up, they'll be given a nice new 2 or 3 year contract.
Yeah.
Maybe up to the time they're 30. And maybe with a chance, if we go down, to talk to other clubs in the contract.
And I think
that would make sense for everybody.
Yes. And, like you say, at the age they're becoming, look at the journey. If let us say, from Kelechi's point of view, in January, Crystal Palace has been linked to it, so they come and knocking for him. and he thinks, oh yeah, it's Premier League again. I'm going to get Premier League for 6 months, and I very, very much doubt Palace will get relegated. They're not going to get relegated. There's a lot, we know. I think we know sort of 4 teams, and that doesn't even include Everton, that are going to go down.
Yeah, the same 3 are going down, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's so he's got to look at that with a manager in Roy Hodgson. All right, he's got the advantages of age and experience, etc. Or does he stay with a team that's like Leicester that, all right, when we first go up, we may be better than Palace. We may only be mid-table and what have you, but the possible journey, the plan that we've got in place, and if we can keep hold of Enzo, who knows what we can achieve. And surely the Leicester, when you look at it, is the more enticing.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you've got to look at, if they're smart enough to look at it. I think Roy's not going to go beyond maybe this season, let alone next.
Yeah.
How are they going to get a decent manager when they're always going to be struggling? They've never really pushed too much for Europe, have they? So that's not really going to be an issue.
No.
They've got a crap ground. That doesn't seem to be going anywhere with a new development. I don't know whether it is or not, but it doesn't seem to be. They take on a manager, sack him, and bring Roy back again. There's so many ifs and buts with them, Palace. They're like Leicester were in the 80s, and that, was kind of not really going to do much but hope for a good cup run. Whereas now we have a structure, we have things happening. We've got a decent manager. We've got, apparently, it seems like decent backroom stuff. Potential for another 10,000 on the building, which isn't subject to getting promoted, I believe. The best training facilities, apart from Man City, maybe in Europe. Why would you leave?
I mean, I could understand, and if we look at Ndidi as
he's not going to win anything at Palace, is he? Though.
No, exactly. We don't know. We could win the FA Cup. He's not going to. They're not going to be in the Champions League.
They're not going to win anything, Chris.
You wouldn't think. Think. When you look at Ndidi, and I think it's one of the Italian big teams, whether it's Juventus or whatever I kind of understand him wanting to go there.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I've got to be honest with you, I wouldn't turn down going off and working in Italy. I like spaghetti. I like pizza, nice warm weather, and they are, if it is one of the big teams, as in Juventus or one of the Milans, if it's one of the not so, the Brescas or somebody like that, then maybe not. But
grass is always greener, isn't it?
It is.
You have a few bad games, and you'll soon find out the difference over there.
Yeah, and it's a foreign country on your own, struggling, not in the team.
Well, I mean, if you're not playing well, you're not getting in the team. The manager's gone off you. You're out there on your own. At least in Leicester, you've got your mates here, and they're a good team, good squad, good club for all that. But no, I mean, it's too many English players or British players gone over there and struggled because of that, and they are thrown out to the dogs.
I mean, we don't with the loan players. We're going to wait and see, obviously, where we are at the end of the season. But Yannick now, he is saying very good things, and I'm taking off my blue tinted spectacles here, and I just wonder if we go up. I mean, as good as he's playing at the moment, and to be honest with you, he's surprising us all with how good he is. He fits into Marquez's style of play very, very well. Now, obviously, if Marquez was to leave or get pinched, then obviously things would change with a new manager coming in. But if we stay up, is he good enough, though? As good as he is now, is he good enough for the Premier League? He was there with Southampton for many years.
No, he's not. No. Too slow.
But that's the way that Marquez plays the game. He wants us to slow it down, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know, but he's too slow to get quality attackers coming at him. He's got the turning circle of the QE2. He's not particularly mobile. He's great going forward, great distribution, but for a guy who's about 8 foot tall, he's not particularly great in the air, is he?
Well, he set up Vardy's goal at the weekend.
Well, yeah.
And would have scored himself if their goalkeeper hadn't got in the bloody way.
Yeah, but there's also times, and he's good in the air when he doesn't have to jump. That's the impression I've got. When
I look at him, and I'm not going to go off on a big thing and defend him, etc., defend the defender, but we're playing it out from the back, and as Enzo said, he has got problems. There's things that he doesn't do well, and Enzo knows about that, and every player has that problem.
Yeah.
Does he do what is asked of him? Yes, he does. He holds on to that ball, and funnily enough, against Watford, it was his role was almost being taken over by Hermanson. He was coming out of his box that much, but the ball will be played back to him, and he will literally sometimes just stand on it and wait and invite the other player, the opposition team. Well, if you want it, you come and get it. What he's very, very good at is playing that long ball over the top then and picking out Fatawu or Mavadidi. It's very rare that his passes don't end up with a Leicester player.
No, you're right. Very good at it, but he's a defender. And Maresca knows that he cannot afford a defender like that in the Premier League. Because he knows the Premier League. He knows it better than the Championship. And he will already be thinking that. He'll say we take one a game at a time and we're doing this and we're doing that. But he'll be thinking about Premier League next year and thinking about players already. And he will know, I would hope, that Vestergaard, as much as he's doing for us this year, which is great, he's not really up to the Premier League. I mean, he's the wrong side of 30 now.
Yeah.
And, you have to be quick as a defender. I mean, you see it, how many times you can get turned by the way they're playing there. And he's been turned a few times in the Championship. It's not his fault. What it is, it's slow. It's very good points you're making. I can't believe I'm saying it, but they are very good points. But, I mean, if we get promoted, you would then possibly think, well, that's when Cody comes into his own. Because let's be honest with you, wasn't that long ago, Cody was an England player, and it was only the fact that, the Everton manager wanted to play his ex-Burnley players all the time that he wasn't getting a look in there. And Wolves didn't want him for some reason, obviously. But does it then become a case of, well, Cody is the starter, he's got the experience, etc., etc., etc. And if he wants to stay, he's kept on as a squad player. Yeah, I think maybe he'd put up with that. But would we give him a new contract? It's a hell of a call to give him a new contract or just another 1-year contract.
Depends how much he wants, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And if we get promoted, he'll want more money.
Although he has said, and in fairness to him, he said that money is not the most important thing for him. Family and being settled.
They all say that.
Did he? But he could have easily gone last January, and he didn't because his wife was about to give birth, and he wanted to stay, and he didn't want to be moving her all around or not be there, and she gives birth. So I do totally understand that.
Yeah.
But we will see. But come January, with the players that we're missing, with AFCON, do you think we're going to be? I mean, we've been linked with a few players. We've been linked with a Man City player that Man City haven't even signed yet. But it's one of those that if Liverpool do this, then Man City will do this and bring this player in. Then if he's brought in, he'll be loaned to Leicester to sort of get him used to the English football and what have you. But what areas do you see that, and we're going to come on to goalkeepers, Scott brought it up earlier, we'll come on to goalkeepers in a minute, but what areas apart from goalkeepers do you think, we don't need to fill goalkeepers in, but are there other sort of major areas where we need to look at bringing players in because we haven't got the cover?
Not to me, it would be one at the back and one up front at least. We need a central defender, another one, and we need another striker at least. Because as I say, is Vardy going to stick around next year? Will he suddenly decide that's enough? He'll be 37, won't he? Or 38?
Yeah, certainly 37. 38, I think. Yeah.
He might be then. He's 36 now, I think. And, will he want to go back in the Premier League again? Or will he say, he'll score shed loads of goals now for the rest of the season I've got you back where you belong. It's been great. That wouldn't surprise me. And goes and does other stuff. So we've got to replace him, even as a part-time striker. We haven't really got.
Technically, only leave us with, presuming, well, Daka and Kells are both going to go. That's only going to leave us with Vardy and Cannon.
Yeah, we haven't really got a proper full-time striker, have we? That you say he's on the team sheet straight away. We haven't got anybody like that, and we haven't. Well, we really Vardy's the only one we've had like that for a while.
He is, but if like you say, he's old, and if he gets injured, he's not going to be out for 1 week and then come back the next. He's going to be out for a while. Cannon, who is the other one up front, and all right, we don't rely on strikers the way we do because the goals are coming. I think after about the first 10 games, it was from 13 different players. But you do need strikers, and Cannon, if he hurts his back again, he could be out for we don't know how long.
But he's unknown, isn't he? But I mean, you never know. He might come in.
Cannon, we bought Cannon.
Yeah, I know, but we don't know how good he is really.
We don't. But then if Vardy gets injured, gets injured, there's only him.
Well, we'll find out how good he is then, won't we? But we need a striker at least, maybe two. We certainly need cover centre halves.
I'm going to say I agree with you on the strike a bit, definitely, 100%. We're in agreement with that. Do we not have the defenders at the club already? I don't like buying in January. We've got to buy because the fans demand it. But everybody's overpriced, and you're buying because of injuries or whatever. But look at the back, we've got Cody, we've got Sutar, who can both play central defender. And Sutar, I always give him his posh name. Sutar, when he came in, I mean, he's doing well for Australia. He's got a couple of goals for Australia. Scott thinks we should play him up front sometimes, and maybe you got a point, Scott. But so we've got two defenders there that are a Nelson as well, little Ben Nelson that's been on the bench. So have we got cover there, do you think, or do you still think with those three?
I think we need somebody else. I mean, Faze has his moments. I'm not fully 100% with him. He's done well for us, but he makes quite a few mistakes, positioning wise. He's, when the opposition has scored, he seems to be the one that's floundering a little bit. But that could be a youth again, experience or lack of it. I'm sure that will change as it goes along. But I just think, we need that. We don't need fullbacks. We don't need midfielders really, unless of course we lose Ndidi, Pratt. But sort of Dennis Pratt's not really played much anyway for the last 2 years. So.
Do you think, because Sutar nearly left in the window?
I don't think anybody wanted him.
Well, this is it. But when he came, he played against Liverpool in the cup, and at the end of the day, their second goal was a worldie, and their third goal went in off the post, and it 50-50 can hit the post and come out just as easily. He had a good game. And I think he then played the next game as well, and I think he did all right. I don't know why he isn't liked as a squad player, and I don't think he wants to go. I think he's look at that waiter service. What more do you need? Where's mine? Is that Kathy? Where's mine, Kathy?
Yeah. Let me say hello to Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Kathy. Is that mine?
There you go.
Thank you so much. Can I have a bacon butty with it?
got a tot of whiskey in it as well.
Wow. We'll get no sense out of you now then.
No, don't forget we've got a few loanees out there as well. That's some Samare people like that.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to deal with that at some stage.
When I look at the loanees that have gone out, I'm thinking, well, they're not going to come back.
No.
Samari, I don't think he's got a future.
No.
Christensen, I think he's resigned to not coming back.
Yeah, that surprised me. That did. I quite.
But he's a winger, isn't he? He wants to be attacking, and that's not what Enzo plays. Same with Thomas. Although I think his confidence will be shattered when it comes back from Sheffield United. But for me, I will disagree with you on there because I think with Cody, I would keep Suter. Why go out and buy somebody when we've got somebody suitable? Now, Cody's not going anywhere. We know that. He's part of the squad. Suter, what's he done wrong? Let's keep hold of him rather than go out and disrupt everything and bring somebody in that doesn't know, anything about the team or how we play.
I think he's been unlucky because for the same reason, he can't play out the back. He's a good old-fashioned centre half. And I think, actually, that's a good point. Who made it? That play him up front, see what happens. Because if you ever need a bang it up the middle type of player, he's your man, isn't he?
Well, Steve Walsh.
Matt Elliott for a little bit as well, didn't it?
Yeah, Matt Elliott and 2 goals in the final.
And we've got a couple of wide players who could take advantage of that. It's an option. It's a plan D or E, isn't it?
It is definitely. I think we're okay for that, to be honest with you. But I respect what you're saying. A few people are saying about the number 8, which is obviously Ndidi's role.
Yeah, I don't know what number 8s and number 10s are anymore. I mean, we talk about Maddison at Tottenham being a number 10, and we've got Harry Winks probably in that position now, although doing better. But then, number 10 was always somebody that sat just inside the striker and played off him and played with him. But now they seem to play all over the park. And I think those days have gone that you've got, there aren't wingers really. There are people that play wide, but they cut in. There aren't full backs anymore because Hazzy's in midfield most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think if you've got players, what he's looking for, I think, are players that can adapt and can play anywhere he asks them to. We've got Justin who can play either side. We've got players who can play with the ball. And I think that's the sort of player he'll be looking to sign, if anybody. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't sign anybody in the new year.
I mean, that's the thing. I still think we need another striker. Depending who's
available at Christmas time or New Year.
Well, this is it, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I think for that number 8 role, I think you got Cassidy, you got Pratt. But it's whether they're fit and good enough. So,
Dennis Pratt plays wide outside, doesn't he? Wide right.
No, he's played wide right, but that's not his natural position.
No, but that's where he's played most of the time.
Rogers played everybody out there because we only had one winger, and that was Harvey Barnes. That's why when you looked at the stats after a game, 70% of our attacks always came down the left because we only had the one winger. Goalkeepers. Scott was asking about goalkeepers. I don't know whether Smithies will go or not. Who knows? Because he's only here till the summer anyway. He's there as an ultimate backup keeper. Yeah. He's a backup to the backup. Ward has been told to maybe move on in January for the sake of his international career.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I was surprised he played on whenever it was, last Wednesday, was it? Or Thursday?
Yeah, Wales. They lost, but I think they can get to the Euros via the playoffs, I believe.
I still think he's a decent keeper. I know he's taken so much stick, but he's not as bad as people make out.
Yes, I agree with you. You see, people hated him when he came in we lost Casper. And whoever replaced Casper in people's eyes, because Casper wasn't just one of our best ever goalkeepers. He was part of the family, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The way he tried to get to the helicopter to save Vichai and everybody else was, he was a legend. He really, really was.
Yeah.
So whoever, and I think the fact that the way that he was let go, I think whoever came in was going to get tarnished with that brush. It's like, the guy that followed, Alex Ferguson was always never going to be popular. But he never let us down when he played in the Cups. He was a good penalty saver when he was in the Cups. But a goalkeeper, I don't think you can rate a goalkeeper always just on their own. Because I think a goalkeeper, no matter how good he is, if the defence in front of you is shit, you've got no chance. And at
Always
the
been my
start of
point.
last season, the defence in front of him was absolutely shit.
Yeah.
We were letting 6-5-4 in, 3-2-1 as well. But so I don't think he was a bad goalkeeper, and I thought he deserved his chance.
Well, when a keeper calls from the ball for the ball and never gets it because his defence don't either trust him or listen or anything, then the keeper's got a big problem because you don't know whether you're going to get the ball when you call for it. You don't know whether to expect it or just not bother calling. And it puts you in a difficult position. And I think Danny Ward ended up like that because there was no way. You look at some of the early games, and I could hear him shout from where I was sitting. Some of the times you could hear him, and a couple of own goals was it, and just ridiculous. So the guy had no chance. And you're right, following Casper was difficult, but Ward was better coming for crosses than Casper was. I think the difference was the presence at the back. Nobody trusted Ward.
Yes.
It appeared to me, which is disgraceful, really. And everybody was scared of Casper. So, and that's the difference. It's like his dad. You didn't argue with his dad there.
No.
And if you look at all the goalkeepers, there's not too many quiet goalkeepers that are top class, world class.
And I think his confidence was shot as well.
Yeah, of course it was, because you're playing behind that lot.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Ward. I think we need to get Ward and Everson, both of them. I don't know what it says about Everson, but when Stolchak made it to the number 2, it kind of would have said to me if I was Everson, but I haven't got a future here.
That surprised me, that did.
Yes.
That surprised me. And yes. I don't think we've had anything really to change that surprise. Because it's funny, isn't it, though, when the Ward was playing in the cup games, as you said, everybody was saying he should be playing instead of Schmeichel. When Everson was playing in them, everybody said he should be playing instead of Ward.
Yes.
And now neither of them get a position.
That's fans for you, isn't it?
Well, it is, but it is kind of the fact that that you have to be able to trust your players. And don't forget also, in these cup games, we didn't have the same first team players.
No.
So it was other players who were there coming in to try and make their mark, who would probably listen a bit more because they're not quite so experienced.
I think as well, you've got to look at the way that Emanson, he's a sweeper keeper. In fact, he's a central midfield keeper. Some of the time, he's that far upfield.
But it's a decent shot stopper as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think Stolchak is that sort of. And that's what Enzo wants. He wants his keeper to be a sweeper keeper, and I don't think Everson is, and Ward definitely isn't. And I think that's why they go. I think you keep
Schmeichel's distribution was rubbish, wasn't it? Really,
it was. But what I'm saying is though, that's Schmeichel's wasn't a sweeper keeper, but that's what Enzo wants. We've seen that. I think Smithy stays because you need a third keeper, and he has at least got a little bit of experience at this level as an emergency. Because if a Manson gets injured or gets sent off or something,
we've got 5 of them.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I can see Ward and Everson either being loaned out or sold, both of them, and I wouldn't. As much as I like them both, I wouldn't be sorry if either of them left.
No, okay. No, fair point. I mean, we've lost goalkeepers before.
I don't think either of them we would lose. I don't think either of them would get into. I mean, again, fairness to Ward, he played one senior game before he was thrown in at the start of last season. So it wasn't his fault, but neither of them, I don't think, would make it into your top 20 Leicester City goalkeepers, No. Yeah, I mean, Turfweight says here, sweeper keepers are a gamble. Yes, they are, but that's the way that football's going. It was interesting to see, we were talking about Terry Venables earlier, that when he went to Barcelona and he won the La Liga with them, he got them to a Champions League final. And he actually said, it was one of the quotes that said that he was trying to get Barcelona to play a 4-4-2. You're like, wow, can you imagine that now? And of course, Pep was one of his players at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But you do move on, and sweeper keepers is the way forward. Whether they are a gamble, playing out from the back is a huge gamble. At least we seem to get it right under Enzo. We didn't get it right under Rodgers, although maybe he was trying to do something that he hadn't got the players to do.
Well, that was hardly playing out from the back, was it? That was playing across the back and back.
Well, yeah.
Back across and across back.
But no, you're right. In fairness, you are totally right. But would you keep Ward or Everson?
I think I'd keep Everson. Yeah.
But would he be? Do you think as a number 3, would he want to stay? Do you think?
No, I wouldn't think so. No.
No.
I'd offer him, but I don't think either of them would want to stay.
No.
I mean, Smithies, because why not?
Yeah. He's gone at the end of the season. Scott was asking, and I don't know. Sorry, John Thornton. Hi, John. How you doing? Was asking, is Hermansen vocal on the pitch? It's funny when there was COVID, you could hear all the players shouting.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be too vocal, no. But that's probably one for Kate because she's most of the matches.
Yeah, but then again, does he have to be? It's.
I think he does. I think every goalkeeper does.
Right.
I really do. A goalkeeper controls that defence, or should do.
Yeah.
And even though we had, Wes Morgan and Robert Huth there, you'd think Wes would be the guy. He was captain. He was the big fella, but he didn't. It was either Huth or Schmeichel. Yeah. So. I think it's vital a goalkeeper controls it.
Yeah. No, you are quite right. But we've covered a couple of topics there. I don't know what else we've got. Let me just have a look if there's what the other comment was. All right, yeah, here we go. It's the summer. Do we keep Thomas? We'll move on after this to the silly question. But it's the summer. Do we keep Thomas, Christensen, or Justin? For me, Justin stays because he can play right, left, and centre.
Great player as well.
Yeah, Thomas.
I like Thomas.
I just think he's struggling at Sheffield United, but then the whole team is.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's more of a midfield, sort of wing back. I think he was exposed a lot at fullback. But then, we didn't mark wingers. We played our fullbacks inside. So there was so much space out on the flanks every time. You thought, hang on, how many times do you have to see that guy's standing there on his own doing nothing before you pick him up?
Yeah.
And, I understand the movement of players together. There's a unit, but, it was so obvious. And that's how we lost a few goals. So I felt sorry for him. Whether he's got a future with us or not, I don't know. It'd be a shame if he hasn't.
I don't think he has. And I think
Christensen, as I say, I thought he did all right for us.
But did.
Fit in the system, I don't know.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I was just going to say, will either of those two fit into Enzo's system? I think if we had a different manager that played using, wing backs, then both of them would. Christensen was brilliant going forward and what have you, and could tackle, but neither of them fit into Enzo's system.
Chris, I'd have said Pereira didn't at the start of the season, because Pereira's just a push it up the wing and go after it like a nutter, isn't he? But look at him now. He's
adapted, a bit like Ndidi has gone from that defensive midfielder to striking midfielder. He's adapted Ricardo into that sort of defender that can go into the midfield.
But who's saying these two couldn't?
Well, Christensen has said he doesn't want to.
Well, that's his problem then. Yeah.
He likes the role. And in fairness, you can't argue with the guy. That's the way he's played. I mean, he's 19 now. That's the way he's played. That's what he loves playing. why adapt it? And if you've got to adapt and it's not your natural position, it might not work out for you.
Yeah, but, maybe not. But yeah, but you've got to give him a chance, and I think Thomas probably deserves a chance. I was amazed he went Sheffield United. I really was. They were always going to struggle. It was always going to be tough.
I don't think he was good, and we would have been up shit creek without him the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he's the right player for Enzo, to be honest with you. But we'll see. But look, we've got the important question coming up next, which is the silly one, and we'll do it straight after this.
The Premier League? That's so last season. It's all about the Championship here on LTID TV. Now that's what I call football.
You hit the right.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Indeed. So we are going to have, and God knows where this is going to take us, but that's what I love about this part of the show. Monday Madness, today's tripe topic. We're going to go off track and probably go off our heads as well. And yeah, it's tripe, not sausages. I'm still waiting for my sausages off Dave.
I can't find them. I've been looking for them. I was even in Surrey this week, and they didn't have them on the shelves at Tesco.
Oh,
well, they had these sausages, but not the ones with sprouts in them.
Oh, I don't want the ones with sprouts in. I just want to see how good the other ones are.
Oh, I bought some of the others, but I've ate them.
Typical.
Sorry,
Typical.
mate. I'll get some sent down to you.
You're just a tease. You're just a
there
teaser.
Again this week, so I'll get some sent down.
But okay, moving on. I've got to say, I had this conversation over the weekend with a friend. Came up on Facebook, and we started talking about it. And I say this will lead us to all different places, I'm sure. Bacon sandwiches. Do you like or a sausage sandwich, whichever you prefer? Now, do you have red or brown sauce on it?
Oh, definitely red.
No.
Ketchup.
Really?
It has to be Heinz as well.
Well,
Can't be any of this other stuff.
I agree with Heinz, but I can't afford Heinz all the time. But I have got Heinz at the moment.
Well, you say that. If you go, there's a supermarket thing that's open in Bognor, and I can't remember what it's called for life of me, but it's just been done up. They're selling Heinz ketchup at half the price of Sainsbury's.
Well, that's as I don't live in Bognor.
Well, you better have one down in Poole. Got to be one in Poole. It's something warehouse.
I have to say, I do, because I live over an Aldi. I do shop at Aldi, obviously, more often than not. I have got Heinz in, but I agree with you. If I can get Heinz, I will have Heinz. Yeah. But see, I loved if I was having a fry up, or I was having like chips, fish and chips, or something like that. Always tomato ketchup.
Yeah.
If I'm having a sausage, I don't very rarely have sausage, to be honest with you. So if I have a bacon sandwich, it's got to be brown sauce.
No, I've never liked brown sauce ever. I don't know why. I've never tried it. I hardly tried it, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? You know. I mean, you're unusual to like both of them. Although probably everybody will now say, "Oh, I like both of them."
Indeed. Well,
it's crazy because I'm not even sure I know what brown sauce tastes like. I like barbecue sauce.
No, it's not. No. There's lots of different sauces you can get these days.
I don't know whether I've even had brown sauce, to be honest. So.
And you can get Heinz, or you can get HP. Obviously, they are the originators of brown sauce. And if it's a fry up, to be honest with you, I do like brown sauce on a fry up.
Okay.
But if it's with anything else, if it's like egg chips or fish and chips, if it's chips, it's got to be red sauce. But I do like a bit of brown sauce. I'm not.
You do gravy. You do gravy.
No, gravy.
Don't do gravy.
Not gravy on chips. Oh no, no.
You've been up north, haven't you?
I have, yes, and I refuse to have gravy on my chips or
Okay.
curry sauce on my
really?
chips.
Oh, you must have curry sauce on your chips.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really had curry at all because I have a lot of reflux and heartburn. So curry sauce tends to be twice as hard on the way out as it was on the way in. So I can't always have that. But no, I tell you what, I didn't when I was talking about being up north, and I may have mentioned this before because it's a little bit of a pet thing of mine. When I first left Leicester, my first place I went to up north was Blackpool. And I went to Blackpool Football Club to watch games. And I've got to be honest, this was before they got the new stadium. You know, you actually, yes, yeah, you know, you literally had to have waders to go to the gents' toilets. I mean,
horrendous.
It was. And I had it there, and then they had it very much in Burnley when I ended up in Burnley a lot. They have it, and that is potato pie. Now, what is the point?
Not many carbs in that, then.
Sorry?
Not many carbs in that.
No,
Potato pie.
I'm sorry. Now, Burnley people, bless them, they're a race on their own. You know, they can leave the doors open in Burnley. That's probably because nobody wants to actually pinch anything anybody's got. Hi, Dan. But I love Burnley people. Don't get me wrong. But surely you have your meat in the pie and your potato at the side. What is the point of having potato in the pie? I don't get that. I do not understand that.
It's like having chip pie, isn't it?
Oh, chip sandwiches though.
Oh yeah.
Nothing wrong with a chip sandwich. Sausage.
Sausage, yeah, or brown sauce. Okay. Oh, that's weird. That is weird, John.
No, you see, sausage with brown sauce,
Yeah.
hot dogs with red sauce. That's a bit like me. Chips with red sauce, fry-ups with brown sauce. Yeah, I kind of do get that, John.
Hot dog is a sausage. It's just a weird sausage.
It's not a sausage, is it? It's a wiener.
It's a plastic sausage.
It's not a proper sausage, is it?
This is a proper sausage.
Yeah, doesn't have quite the same effect as Crocodile Dundee in his knife.
It doesn't, does it? No, it doesn't. No. You've got to be careful with sausages, though.
You have, and keep yours covered. That's all I'll say.
Isn't there a bit of swine fever around, apparently?
I've no idea, but it would explain an awful lot.
Normally at Christmas it's bird flu, isn't it? So the turkeys will get destroyed. But I think they found, I don't know, probably found one case, so it's an emergency now.
Just to sidetrack briefly, talking about turkeys, because if anybody listens to the Breakfast Show on Surrey Hills Community Radio
.co.uk.
Yeah, pretty sure that's where you can, or you can, if you've missed any of the shows, you can pick all the shows up by all the great presenters on mixcloud.com/Surrey Hills Radio as well. If you go back to last week, I've started playing Christmas music. You know, I've started a few weeks ago, but I'm in full swing now. And I've got to say that if you haven't heard it, it's American and it's called the Turkey Song. But it is the chorus just goes gobble 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 gobble. It's only after I played it I realised it was probably from a kids show. But I will play that for everybody. If you tune in tomorrow morning via the computer or via your radio app on your mobile phone, which you can also Bluetooth to your radio if you have the facility while you're driving, I will play the Turkey Song for everybody.
Oh, I've actually got some Australian Christmas songs for you. I've just remembered. There's some couple of great ones that I've played before, so Luke will know them. But I'll send them through to you.
Yeah, I'm dreading those now. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to send me those, why did I even ask about Christmas My Arse? I should have just played it, shouldn't I?
You should have, yeah.
You know. Bart said, tin tomatoes with tomato ketchup is criminal. Brown sauce only. I love tin tomatoes.
Yeah.
fry rather than fried or grilled proper tomatoes.
Yeah, me too. But I used to put sugar in the pan. If you do tinned tomatoes and put a bit of sugar in it, it tastes fantastic. The problem is with the sugar in tomatoes and the sugar, your diabetic's nightmare.
Yes.
Uh,
I would never have thought of that, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, it does taste good, but it's not great for you. But I do love putting ketchup on them as well.
Yeah. Scott, you're quite right. Those people that put up the Christmas decorations early are supposed to be happier. I did post that to my Facebook page. Tell you what, do you like Weetabix, Dave?
Not really, no.
Oh. See, I like Weetabix, but with butter on.
Or shredded wheat.
No, you can't have butter on shredded wheat. That's well, Weetabix is a cereal. But Weetabix with butter on, I love.
Yeah, but I used to find it all just turned into a mush when you put milk
The
on
idea
it.
was that it all came, at the end, but you save it all up into a nice little pile, and then you put butter on the side of your plate with a spoon, and you scoop some butter and a spoonful of Weetabix flakes up and eat it like that. We were brought up in different times, Dave, weren't we?
You think red sauce is weird?
No. Talking about, I'm going to end on this one now. My daughter, or one of my daughters, Heather, she's in Bali, I think, at the moment. She was such a bad eater growing up. She really was. Her favourite meal was like a tomato sauce sandwich.
Yes,
I know. I used to enjoy tomato sauce on fried bread.
Okay.
But again, that was a post-war sort of saving money sort of meal.
I was going to say, what did we? Oh, we had pork joint yesterday, and Kathy enjoys wiping the bread around the pan and the gubbins.
Oh yes, yeah. No,
Yeah,
not
do you
wrong with
remember
that. Yeah,
Ooh,
not wrong
was
with
like-
that. But my daughter, so she loves tomato sauce, but she also has mayonnaise on everything.
Oh,
And what she started to do was, like, so if it's pizza, it's going to be pizza with mayonnaise. So what she then did was she'd mix the two together. She'd have mayonnaise.
yes, that's
and
a
you'd have
thing
tomato
now.
sauce.
That's a thing for the kids.
But I was in Sainsbury's about 6 months ago. What did I see?
No,
Yeah, they are now selling that Heinz tomato and mayonnaise sauce.
I admire their marketing, but what a
I tell
load
you
of
what,
crap.
my daughter, she's ahead of her time. That's
Yeah. But I noticed that the kids, the 20, 30, 40-year-olds probably, they do that. And I think, what's wrong with you? You know, it just seems so weird.
Well, they look at me and, like, when I said at work, when I used to work, and I said about, the Weetabix with butter on, I said, oh, you can't do that. And then you go on, I mean, if you go onto the website, it says you have it with jam, you can have it with, it's what us of a certain age, we're in the post-war austerity period. It's amazing what you ate. I used to love, chipsticks.
Yeah.
From Sainsbury's in a sandwich. I love that,
I used to have sugar sandwiches.
Let's have what?
Sugar sandwiches.
Sugar. No wonder you were bloody diabetic. Sugar in your tomatoes. Sugar in
Makes
your
you
sandwich.
wonder, my upbringing.
Did you
Sugar
like a bit of
sandwiches.
coffee in your sugar, by the way?
I never liked coffee, really.
Now, here's what I
We
hadn't
used to
heard
have
of
small
before.
cups of tea with 2 sugars in it.
Oh,
tea
2
cups.
sugars is good. 2 sugars
Well,
is good.
I don't have sugar at all now. Not because I'm partially diabetic or whatever, but because I just didn't.
No.
I went down to none, then went back to a half. So I had a half for a long time and then just cut it. But yeah, sugar sandwiches. Because you didn't have to make anything really, did you?
No.
Unless you could get the spam out the tin, which isn't easy. Branston pickle.
Branston pickles, I know.
We're opening up a can of worms here, mate.
Well, worm sandwich somebody will come up with now, I tell you.
Yeah.
No teeth and diabetic, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm diabetic and I still have sugar on everything. And I actually went down from 2 sugars in my drinks to 1, but it is sneaking back up to nearly 2. I have 2 flat now, which is...
Well, the secret is go to none. drink it without any sugar at all for a couple of days. Trust me. And then put a half in. That'll do it.
I can get away with one
Just
sugar
try
in
it.
coffee, but in tea, I
No,
do
just-
like to. And I'm
just
going
try it.
through. I'm going through a tea period at the moment where I seem to like. I drink
Your
coffee
age.
for months and months and months, and now I'm just drinking tea.
Isn't it funny? 'Cause
Yorkshire tea,
when
like proper. It's made proper, you know.
exactly. When I had coffee, because it was the thing to do in the 80s when you worked in an office, I used to have sugar in coffee, but wouldn't have sugar in tea.
Wow.
How weird is that? Well, is it weird? I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. Some of the things that we've been coming up with today. No, it's not. And I
Good
tell you the
point.
other thing as well. I like coffee, but it's got to be instant coffee. I'm not into all these silly
Oh.
fancy coffees and whatever.
Okay. No, but I used to like the machines. That type of thing. And
I like the smell.
yeah.
I can't. An extra latte topping, sugar,
no.
caramel. Oh no.
Just give me a coffee, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll go into Costa or Starbucks and I'll have a pot of tea.
Yeah. Well, you ask for tea now, you get a list. You know, and if what's it now? It's like breakfast tea, isn't it? Or English breakfast tea, and I just want a cup of tea. You know, what's wrong with you?
Yorkshire tea, where it's made proper. That's
Yeah.
it. I when I went on a cruise a few years ago, and literally you'd open the drawer and they'd have all the tea bags that are lined up, you know, the little individual wrappers.
Bit
And the
posh.
choice was like jasmine tea. What's that? I mean, breakfast tea. Give it. That's all I had. Breakfast tea, because all the others were like mint tea and no.
You can have tea at night that helps you sleep and stuff like that.
I find a good G&T does that though.
Well, exactly. That's the only tea worth it. Or V&T, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of it, Governor.
In that case, I'm going to have to go and have one. Dave, thank you so
Chris,
very much. I love
before
this
you
bit
go-
of the show. I
Before
really
you go-
do.
Before you go,
I'm
I can't
here.
remember whether I know you do your top 10, and I can't remember whether you've done a top 10 of chocolate bars. Did you do that in the end?
No, I'll tell you why. Because when I do my last hour, and everybody that's listening, I do the breakfast show from 7 till 10. And the last hour of the breakfast show is become like, well, it's the top 10 at 9. And I've made it so that it's mainly music.
Yeah.
And that way, basically it fills the hour. So the 10 songs usually takes me to 9:45, and then I'll play a couple that were just outside the top 10 of whatever. So I'm not actually doing. So we've moved on from vagina museums, and
Well, that's probably best. Yes.
yeah, I think you probably will. Although you listened to it at the time, you were enjoying it, thinking, I'll add that one to the list.
Yeah, we kind of couldn't repeat it in children's hour, unfortunately.
No. So today, for example, I did the top 10 one-hit wonders.
I didn't hear today. I was driving.
No.
And I should have put the
had it
radio
on your
there.
car. Why did you not have
I
it on your car?
I have. But it was 6 o'clock this morning, or 6:30 this morning, and you were the last thing on my mind when the plane was pissing down.
Why was I?
Roads were flooded and the lot couldn't see properly, you know.
Well, tune in the morning because I want you and Kathy to both get a nice cup of tea or coffee, whatever you want, and cuddle up on the sofa because at 9 o'clock tomorrow it's the top 10 love songs.
Okay, well, we've got the granddaughter, so that's not going to happen.
No, it won't do. It won't do then.
Because we'll be running around the city and stuff and playing games and all that. But I'll still have it on there.
And on Wednesday, we've got the top 10 of 1980, the top 10 selling singles. I do one of these every week. So not this week, Guess the Year. It's the top 10 singles of a particular year. This week, it's 1985.
Okay.
When Colonel Abrahams actually got into the top 20 at the end of the year charts with his Trapped, which is why I've got Ed Byrne on, the comedian, because it's one of his favourite songs. If you've ever seen that, Google it on YouTube or YouTube it.
Yeah.
Ed Byrne and Tara O'Brien, and they talk about Trapped. It started me laughing already.
Pair of comedians.
Yeah, and then on Friday we got the top 10 Christmas songs. So
yeah,
you know. But Anyway, thank you very much, sir. Tune in.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Delia. And everybody tune in the morning. Dave won't be, so somebody else please listen in.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're my one listener, and I've lost you.
I'm sorry, mate. Well, I'll pretend. I'll switch it on. I just won't listen.
That's what most people do, I think.
Nice to see you, mate.
All the best to Kathy. I'm still waiting for me bacon sandwich, and enjoy your time with the granddaughter.
Cheers, guys. See everybody.
All the best. Take care. Bye bye. So thanks very much to Dave there. Really took we did go off complete. I love that. I love that part of the show. Let's just go and be silly. Karamak is good, 2 for 1 to you are so correct. And they're stopping it. Milky Bars. The blue car and the red car had raced. So again, I'm going to end now. Otherwise, I'll be here all night talking about Karamak. I love it. Okay, I will see you at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you are up, tune in. Like I say, please, Surrey Hills radio.co.uk. Listen live, click on it, or just ask your smart speaker to play Surrey Hills Radio. Or on your mobile phone, search via the TuneIn app or whatever your radio app is that you use, and just search Surrey Hills Radio. And if you want a request, I do requests, but ignore those that say get off. Breakfast at surreyhillsradio.co.uk. So breakfast at surreyhillsradio.co.uk is where you can email, and I'll give you a shout out. And if I've got the song you want, if there's a reason for it, I'll read that out and play the song as well. Other than that, on here, night off tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday when we actually play Sheffield Wednesday. Ho ho ho. We will see you then with me and Brad for that one. So take care. Thanks everybody to listening. If you've been listening on your favourite podcast platforms, we do appreciate that. And thanks to everybody that has been in the chat and joined in. I will see you on Wednesday. I think it's going to be about 7:30ish. So we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.